Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another trip. And I'm sitting right next to my balcony and I'm enjoying the sunset. This sunset weirdly reminds me of my childhood. I don't know how. So, this trip, I'm going to be talking about my childhood.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.
My childhood was very weird. And I think everybody's childhood is weird when you look back because you have your own made up definitions and assumptions of how things work. And when you grow up, you realize that's exactly not how things work. So, let me give you guys an example. This entire trip, I'm going to be talking about all the stupidest, the most dumbest things that I thought to be true growing up as a child, and all the stupid things that I did growing up as a child. The first thing is everybody has their own definition of how babies are made. How do women get pregnant? So, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Because when you are growing up, you see a woman pregnant. I am pretty sure you have had a very weird definition of how did that lady get pregnant? How did that lady have a human being inside of her growing? So here's my definition. So what I thought was when a girl is born, with her there is a tiny human being inside her. And as she grows up, even the baby also grows. And and after the baby grows enough, then they get that baby out to the real world. No sex, no sperm meeting the ovary, nothing. This was my definition. Very innocent, I know, right? But and this made so much sense to me. Like nobody could change my mind back then. Like this is the actual way of how human beings are born. And yeah, this was my weird definition. And the second weird thing that we all collectively believed, when I say we, I mean our friends group, we collectively believed uh, that Chihuahua was as small as a mobile phone which could fit in a pocket. I am not joking. So we actually I after a few years I found out that this dog breed was Chihuahua. We actually called it a pocket dog. Can you guys believe me? We actually call it a pocket dog. So, I'm from a very small town called Ballari in Karnataka. This is not a village like how I'm portraying it to be, like, but it is a pretty small town, and we didn't have much exposure to things. So, just go Google pocket dogs. Just go Google. You actually find dogs in human cloth pockets, like a shirt pocket. You will actually find them. I'm not joking. Go check it out. And we didn't think it out second. We didn't give second thoughts to it. We assumed that this is a pocket dog. This is going, and that is the maximum size it's going to be. And then later, as I grew up, I saw Chihuahua, which was not at all small, which was smaller compared to other dog breeds, but it was this big. it was big. And yeah, that was a weird thing. The reason why I mentioned this Chihuahua is because as kids we have so much strong opinions on things. Like like we believe something to be true so much. We believe it so much and we make that as a fact in our head. And yeah, to reinforce that point, I gave this example. And I come from a generation where we didn't play a lot of mobile phone games or we didn't play a lot of computer games. So, yeah, and I'm definitely going to say this to my kid when I become a dad. I'll be like, Growing up, we never had such luxury. We never had, we didn't have computers. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say that for sure. And I think everybody from my generation, like we actually went out to play. So when you look around in metropolitan cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, the concept of apartment is is vast. Like the apartments are more in number. But when you go to smaller towns uh, like Ballari, there are not many number of apartments that you get there. So it's just independent homes, independent houses, and you come out on the road to play. And most of the houses had a pretty big um compound. Like that's what we call it. What do you guys call it? Play area in. I don't know if I'm making sense, but what do you guys call the area which is outside the house but inside the fences? Like what's it called? Courtyard? I don't know what's it called. But yeah, like almost every house had it. So we had plenty space to play. Out of all the games that we could play, we always had these sessions where we would come up with games on our own. Like we used to make our own rules and we would play. So this was one of the game that I remember is we used to play a family game. Basically what this game is, you are role this is a role play where you pretend to be a father, where you pretend to be someone's wife, where you pretend to be someone's kid, and this is a family. And so I was always the father because I get to be wife of some girl. Yeah, sorry, I get to be husband of some girl, and and I always and I remember I had a crush on this girl in my neighborhood, and I always wanted to play that game and be her husband in the game. Sounds very creepy when I say it, but it was actually cute. So, so we would play this, and I would pretend to be my father. Like, so I would mimic the mannerisms that he did. Like I would spread open the newspaper, and I would pretend that I have a glass in my hand. I would drink coffee, and I would read the newspaper. No newspaper. It was just mime. It was just mime, and I would pretend that I'm wearing spectacles, and my wife would be in the kitchen, which is just one step away from me, and the kitchen it's just 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter. So she would put in all stones, she would put in mud, she would pick up some random leaves and put, and that was cooking to her. And she would cook that, and she would bring the food, and I had to mime like I'm eating it, and I would say like, oh, this tastes too good, like blah 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 blah, and we would play this for hours. Can you guys believe I would play a role play for hours? Maybe that's where my interest for acting and theater comes. But yeah, that was a very, very, very weird game. And we would play hide and seek too. Hide and seek. And to in the beginning of this trip, I mentioned that I'm going to be talking about the stupid things that I did in my childhood, right? So here it goes. One of the stupid things that I did growing up was I used to lie a lot. I would lie so much, not because I was scared, because every time I lied and people believed the lies, that would give me so much thrill. That would make me so happy. And I'm not joking. That would give me, it's the same feeling as magician has when he performed a trick, and and the audience goes, wow, how did you do that? And the magician knows, and that feeling that magician has, that's the exact feeling that I had every time I lied, because I was just manipulating people by saying something else, uh, which was not the truth. And every time they believed, i would I would I would actually jump when they leave, like, oh, they believe what I said. So which made me feel that I am smarter than them. But this never worked with my mom, because moms are the world's most uh, smartest species, because they always know. Moms always know everything. If you have a problem, you always go to mom, right? Why? Like if your leg is hurt, you always go to mom, because moms always have insights on everything, on everything. So, and they also know when you're lying. I think all moms should go join CBI or some investigation department, because they are they are like bloodhound dogs. They can sniff stuff. Like they know when you're bullshitting. They know when you're lying. So uh, I am pretty sure you all did something nasty growing up. Like for example, imagine you broke a pipe and the water is leaking. Your mom looks at that and your mom knows that you are the one who did it, even though even if you have three siblings, she always knows that you did it. For hours together you say no you didn't, no you didn't, no you didn't. She always knows it's you, and you're lying. She knows it's bullshitting. You're bullshitting, yeah. And dads are not that smart. Like you can lie to dads and they'll be like okay. Like they don't think, like they don't get that intuition, but moms have. Intuitions are dangerous and moms have it. So I couldn't lie a lot with my mom. She would whack me, she would punish me. And that was one thing. Oh, I just thought of this story. Okay, let me guys tell you a story of my childhood. I think I was in third or fourth grade, and in my school we always had to work on this group projects. So we were four members working in the group, and one day this dude, my teammate, uh, his name was I don't remember exactly his name. I think his name was Harsh. Yeah, his name was Harsh, and so Harsh comes to me and he says, "Dude, I want to be the captain of the group. I want to lead this group." And I go, "Dude, I want to be the leader too. I want to lead this group too." And we both were arguing so much, like how I am a better leader, how he is a better leader, and we both were not giving up. We both were very stubborn on leading the group. So we decided to give the leadership position to this another dude called Teja. And you every class always has this dude who is very innocent and who is not that great with academics, and he's very silent. Like, he doesn't do any mischievous things. He's very silent, he's very innocent, and he's also poor in academics. So so we give this so we make him the leader, so that so I am satisfied that he is not the leader and he's satisfied that I am not the leader. So ego problems. So yeah. And we were working, and we always used to go to this dude's home to work on the project. He never came to anybody else's home. I don't know why. So every time we went there, his mom would get involved in our project. Like she would contribute ideas, she would say things, and once a mom gets involved in something, that means that stuff's pretty serious. I mean, when you're a kid and your friend's mom says something, you have no other choice but to take that. Like you cannot say no, I don't like this, blah 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 blah. Like I didn't have the audacity to say that, and I didn't have the courage to say that. So this dude and his mom always kept saying ideas, and we had no other choice but to take their ideas and go forward. And I never liked their ideas. uh, I am kind of selfish in that way, because I think my idea is so much through that I have so much confidence in my idea that I want my idea to be implemented. So yeah. and And one day I was so fed up, I was so frustrated, and I go and I went all these thoughts to my another friend who was not in this group. His name was Karthik. So I go to this Karthik dude and I say, dude, this Harsh guy, please in future never ever team up with him, because if this guy is in your team, that means you have to listen only to his ideas and his mom's ideas. Like all your ideas just go in vain. And this asshole, he went and told Harsh. He went to Harsh and he said, "Bro, Sankarshan said, Sankarshan said stuff about you like this, blah 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 blah." And this Harsh dude got super mad. He went to his mom and he told everything to his mom. See, all I said was, if this dude is in your team, all you have to listen to is his and his mom's ideas. That's all I said. So Harsh went to his mom. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he lied, but his mom got super triggered. I don't know why. I don't know what he said. His mom got super triggered. And next day she comes to school. She comes to school. Uh, she goes straight to the principal's of cabin, and she says, uh, "My friends, my son's friends, they come to my home to do project. Blah 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 blah." And then they spoke shit about me. Some blah blah blah. She said, and our principal, he called our team. He called our team to, so we all had to go. And I knew why she had come, because that previous day I told shit about her. Yeah. So I didn't say anything vulgar, I didn't say anything bad. I just said that they're very dominant. Yeah. And I knew what was going to come. So I was freaking out. I was super nervous. Uh, because our principal would whack the shit out of us. Like if we did something which was indisciplined, he would whack us. He would beat us uh, with a stick. So I was peeing in my plants almost. So we go to the cabin, and our principal's cabin. It is so silent. It is pinned up silent. I think it's noise proof. Yeah, it's supposed to be, because it was. I could actually hear my heartbeat. It was that silent, and all our group members are standing in a line. And I look around. In four members, this one. So Harsh is standing next to his mom. So we three people, I see that the other dude is absent. So in four members, only three members are in that room, and this dude is absent. And boom, I get this master plan idea. And basically, what I did was I put all the blame on the dude who was absent. His name was Savan. I am so sorry, Savan, if you're listening to this. I was just a kid back then, 4 years old. Yeah, sorry, fourth grade, not 4 years old. So this dude called his Savan, he was absent, and I put all the blame on him. So I went to the chief. I said, "So whatever Harsh is saying, whatever Harsh's mom is saying, they're saying the truth. Actually, Savan said that, and and I also wanted to save Savan's ass. I wanted, okay, first priority, I wanted to save my ass. And next, I didn't want him to get uh, beaten up by our principal. So I wanted to make it safe for him too. So I started saying, no, actually, Savan didn't mean it that way. Like, he's a really sweet guy. Like he just said he meant something else in nice way, but it came out to be like this, blah 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 blah. And and our principal says, okay, you guys leave now and come back tomorrow when that dude comes back to college. And I go home and I'm thinking, what if Savan says that he didn't say? Then everything, like my whole plan, will be a flop show. So I'm just thinking, how do I convince this dude? How do I convince? And next day, this dude comes, Savan, and I go to him. I'm like, dude, we need to talk. And he says, what do we need to talk about? Is everything okay? I said, no, it's not. Let's go and talk. let's go to a place where no one's there, which is washroom. So every serious conversation in a friends group happen in washrooms. I don't know why. So I and Savan, we go to washroom, and I say, dude, you remember, uh, like you said stuff like this about Harsh and Harsh's mom, and that dude goes, no, I didn't say. I said, no, dude, you said. So uh, after 15 minutes of perseverance, I finally convinced him of a crime that he never committed. So what I did was, I convinced that he said it. So I don't know how I convinced him, like 15, 20 minutes. I kept saying, dude, you said it, but I don't think you remember. Like I just altered whatever he said in the past, and I somehow made it seem like it came to a point where he had to say something like that. And I convinced him of a crime which he never committed. So, and I'm still worried because first phase, convincing everybody that he said, phase 1. Second phase, convincing him of a crime which he never committed. And the third phase is we had to go meet our principal again with that day. So I didn't want him to flip over in front of principal. So I had to convince this. Like I convinced him, and I had my fingers crossed. Like I didn't know what to expect. Like, what if he goes to principal? He'll be like, no, 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 no. 20 minutes, Sankarshan kept saying shit, blah, 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 blah. If he says something like that, then my ass is on fire. So what I did was, dude, if you try to explain yourself in front of principal, then he's gonna whack you because there's so much discussion, blah, 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 all that. So I said, when you meet the principal, just look down and just say you're sorry. So basically, I asked him to maintain a mannerism of someone who is guilty, and I asked him to say sorry. That's all he had to do. That's all he had to do. And we go to the principal, and my heart is beating really hard. I'm like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh." And then he says, I am sorry. And I gave a sigh of relief. I was like, whoa. And then we came out. He said, never repeat something like this again. And we came. And I felt like a badass because I convinced someone of a crime that they didn't commit because I had to save my ass, which is wrong. I know, which is wrong, but you gotta give me some credits. You gotta give credits to the kid who convinced someone of a crime that they didn't commit. So yeah, that was that was a proud moment of my life because, like I said, I am always thrilled to lie, and I did two things that day. One is that I lied and I pulled it off, and the second thing is I saved my ass. And I saved my ass by also saving the other guy. So okay, so the plan in my head was I didn't want him to get wagged. I didn't want him to get uh, punished for something which he didn't do. So, and also I didn't want to get punished. So I put blame on him, and I made sure that he also didn't get punished. So successful mission completed. So that was one of an incident. I like when I think about school, all I can think about is the mischievous things that I have done, all the lies that I've told, all the gossips and rumors. Holy shit. My school had so many rumors. All schools are like that. These bloody kids, they have no work to do. And it's not even the kids, it's not the third, fourth grade. It's always the high school kids. It's always the sixth, seventh, eighth grade kids who create so many rumors. And yeah, because they think they're too smart. So even I also had a lot of rumors around me. So there used to be this one girl who who would spread rumors saying that we both are dating. And so one day I was wearing one t-shirt, and he spread this rumor that her dad bought that t-shirt from China, and she gifted that t-shirt to me. Some bullshit, but yeah, rumors. I don't know if she actually said it or if someone else created the rumor. I don't know, because it's rumor. With rumor, you never know the cause of the origin, or yeah. So that was one weird thing. And the second stupid thing that I used to do growing up is I used to steal a lot. The second thing that gave me a thrill and adrenaline rush after lying is stealing. Yes, I'm not kidding. I would shoplift a lot. So, so we had this another group project that we had to do after like after 2 years after that incident with another different group, and there would be a supermarket next to this guy's house. So we used to go to this friend's home to work on the project, and there would be a supermarket close by. And I would go, I would wear these loose shorts with big pockets so that more stuffs could fit in when you're stealing. So I would keep my school bag outside supermarket. I would go in, I would I would take stuff, put them in my pocket, and I would come out. I would put them in my bag, and I would go back again, take put stuff in my pocket, and I would come back. I also had the audacity to steal products which were on the billing counter. I am not joking. So there would be this cherry packet. So I would ask the cashier, how much does this cost? He would say 60 bucks. I would be like, okay. And I would say, okay. And I would just walk out. I would just walk out. I mean, they like he would be busy because there was some 4 to 5 other customers with me. But I did that 5 to 6 times, but he didn't even catch me once. So I would steal right in front of the cashier, right in front of him. So that would give me so much adrenaline rush. And yeah, one day all my other group mates, they also got super thrilled because so what I would do is I would go steal all this stuff. I would put it in the bag, come to my friend's home, and I would give it to all my group mates. I wouldn't eat a single thing, but I would give it to everybody, and they would be so happy, and that would make me happy. That made me happy so much. I was like this Robin Hood, where I would steal stuff for them, but these people were not suffering of any sort. But yeah, I would steal just for fun, and they would have fun, and they would enjoy all their snacks. And one day, my group mates decided, even we are going to come with you and steal. I said, dude, stealing is not a easy thing. Like it's an art form. Like everybody cannot pull stealing and not get caught. Like you guys know, I'm very talented, and only I can pull this off. You guys cannot. And they would be like, no, 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 don't teach us. We'll also come. We'll also come. And I said, okay, it's time to spread the art, to teach the art. So I took this guy kids, and I'm slowly giving them tips on how to and what products to steal, because some products pop out of the pocket. So the cashier, someone, they can see the outline of the product. So you always, so I was giving him tips like that, like you always buy, you always steal packets which are very thin, or which are not, which doesn't have a very definite shape, blah blah blah. I was just preaching them. And this one dude, he stopped listening halfway through, and he started stealing somewhere. And the supermarket owner caught him. So that is the same dude who lived close by the supermarket. So what happened was this dude started freaking out. He said, my parents come to the supermarket very often, and if they get to know that I stole something like this, they're gonna punish me. And he started crying, and I felt super bad. So I took the blame. I said, I I said, I owned up. I said no, it was not his fault. It was my fault. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, the story ended. Whew, that story would have gone much more bad. That supermarket owner could have hit me or something, but he didn't. He just asked me to call my parents and come. Blah 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 blah. He also took my wallet. My wallet had $100. So when you're a kid and you're $100, that is a lot of money. So this dude, he took my wallet, and he said, get your parents, then I'm gonna will give you a wallet. And I, with full confidence, I told all my friends, I'm like, hey, let's go out of the supermarket. I'm gonna get my parents and I'm gonna deal with this dude. And I go out and I run home. I run home, but we were still enjoying the food that we stole, because before he caught us, we already had 5 trips, in and out, in and out, in and out, and our bag was full. It was not just me, all my interns who learned how to steal that day also stole a lot. So we had so much stuff that we ate for almost 10 days, 10 to 15 days. We had so much stuff. So yeah, that was one thing. And I also stole toys from my relatives' home. So I had this weird attraction towards toys, live action toys, which were heavy, because it made me feel good. Like when I was holding them, it felt good. So I would steal a lot of toys. So I would, like, every time I went to a cousin's home and I see a toy which took my attention. Oh, all like how much time I'm spending there in their home. 90% of the time I'm thinking, 99%, sorry, I'm thinking, how do I flick the shit out of this? How do I steal this shit? How do I steal this shit? And I would steal it. Yeah, I was pretty good at stealing. And every time I stole toys and I came back home, my mom would ask me where I got that toy from, and I would say, "Oh, my friend gifted me this. We are such good friends. So he was rewarding my friendship by giving this toy, blah blah blah." And my mom would just stare at me. Like I said, never mess with a CBI officer. So she always knew I was lying. Like every time I was lying, and she would ground me. She, no, she would. Is that even a word? Grounded. Okay, yeah, grounded is a word, but how do I put that in sentence? Yeah, never mind. So the thing was, yeah, she would punish me, and I would. All the privileges were cut for another week or 10 days. Yeah, that was uh, it about my childhood. And also, one of the beautiful thing about children is that they always live in the moment. Like whenever you see a kid playing, he is so much immersed into the playing that all he can think about and all he is doing is playing. And even as a kid, when I was shoplifting, all that I was doing, because when we came out, we all friends would have this amazing laugh. And so that we were doing that for fun, like we were living in the moment so much. I think that's the beauty of childhood. And if we all could live half as much as kids do in the moment, our life would be so much more happier. So we have come to the end of the trip. Thank you so much for listening, and always keep the kid in you alive, and try to live in the moment. People, have a good day, have a good week, and do something positive this week.